What's going on, everybody? LT Dickey here. Today, I want to tell you guys the story of my first live wrestling experience. It's actually not a live event where there was actually any live wrestling going on, but it was still super cool. And I'm about to tell you the story. It is a wrestling memory, and it's something I hold very dear and very close to me, and I'm going to tell you why. So hang on for the ride. Here we go. Alright, so my first live wrestling experience. Like I said in the intro, there was actually no live wrestling going on at this event. It was just a press conference. This was around the time of WrestleMania 18, and WrestleMania 18 was held in my hometown of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Super cool. It was held at the Skydome. Something like 68,000 people were there to see it live. I actually saw it on pay-per-view because I've always had this fear of crowds and just being stuck in the middle of crowds, and that mass amount of people is not something I'm really comfortable with and not something I wanted to subject myself to. Although I said in my personal WrestleMania story video, which I will link in the description, that my dad actually offered to buy tickets to WrestleMania 18, although the price tags were like, I think ringside seats were something like $600, and he offered to buy ringside seats, and I said no, simply because I am not a big fan of crowds and being in the middle of a mass amount of people. That's not something that I find enjoyable, although I have gone to some live WWE events in Toronto, like actual live wrestling shows here in town. But my first live experience with the WWE, first live wrestling experience was with the WWE, and it was a press conference to announce that WrestleMania 18 was going to be held at what is now the Rogers Center, so the Skydome at the time, which was super cool. My dad actually said, you know what, you're taking the day off of school, which was super rare because if I wasn't sick to the point where I could barely lift my head off the pillow, I was going to school. If I could lift my head, watch TV for 5 minutes, and have a conversation with you, and even if I had a cold, you're going to school, boss. Which was cool. I mean, it turned me into the man I am today, and it gave me the work ethic and the drive to work hard and strive for things. And I truly believe that, but at the same time, I wasn't sick. I was feeling great. We were probably 2 or 3 weeks into the school year, and he said, you're going to take the day off. That never happened, ever. It was just like, you either go to school and get your education, or, I basically give you a whooping, right? So when he came to me and said, you're taking the day off of school, I'm doing what now? Yeah, you're taking the day off of school, I'm taking the day off of work, and we're going to this press conference where WrestleMania 18 was being announced, and I'm going to take the day off of work, and we're going to make a day out of it, and you're going to have a good time. Now, here's the thing. I was a huge, I guess you could say mark, but I was a huge wrestling fan as a kid. I loved it. I started watching consistently in the middle of the Attitude Era, about 1990, late 90s, 98, 99, around there. And my dad, not the biggest wrestling fan, but he knew it meant a lot to me, or it may have meant a lot to me, and it probably did, because it left a pretty big impression on me when he said, you're taking the day off, and we're going to this press conference, and you're going to enjoy it, because I'm going to make sure you have a good time. Which was super cool. I mean, granted, I wasn't that tall back then. I was in grade school. I probably just started the 7th grade, and we were 2 to 3 weeks into the school year. Like, this is still September, right? And it's my second last year of elementary school, so you're thinking, okay, great. It's probably like, I was thinking about high school back then and things like that. and starting high school. But he was just like, you know what, relax, it's okay. You're not going to school, you're taking the day off, and we're going to have a good time. And I did. It was super cool. Granted, like, this was in the middle of the Attitude Era, or like the tail end of it now at that point when WrestleMania 18 came around. So, you know, I'm a grade school kid, and we go to this press conference at Nathan Phillips Square. At least I think that's where it was, to my best recollection. And, you know, you get Vince McMahon, because I couldn't really see much because I was short. I'm not really all that much taller, but I was, you know, short kid, and they did have a sound system, obviously, because he's standing at a podium. So you hear Vince McMahon. I did see a glimpse of Triple H. Unfortunately, I got stuck behind this other father and son, and the son, honestly, was wearing like this bright orange t-shirt. I remember that like it was yesterday. It just bright orange, almost like a crossing guard vest, you know, but it was just this solid bright orange colored t-shirt. And most of the pictures that we took, because it was a disposable camera we brought with us, most of the pictures are actually like, there's the podium way off in the distance, but right up close to the lens, is because this guy was standing right in front of us, is this kid with this bright orange crossing guard Halloween type t-shirt. And I was like, not that it, you know, seeing that press conference was super cool, getting to see obviously the stars of the WWE back then, Triple H, I think Austin came about, or maybe even The Rock, I'm not even sure. I do know that Triple H was there, but not that it took any of the buzz away, but I was just sort of like, because that kid in that bright orange shirt was right in front of us, and most of the pictures that we got were of that bright orange shirt, I was just sort of like, I mean, I still had a good time, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that he was like, you're taking the day off school because this is going down, and it's a press conference, and you love wrestling. And I still do to this day. I still love professional wrestling. I still love sports entertainment. You love it, and you're my son, and I love you. So we're going to this press conference, and we're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a good day. And I did, simply because, I mean, yes, I am a big fan of sports entertainment, big fan of professional wrestling. But the fact that my dad said to me, you're taking this day off, I'm taking the day off of work, we're going downtown, and we're going to see this press conference. That is what made the day for me. That was basically like, holy cow, this is the greatest day up to this point in my life right now. Which was like, I will always remember the fact that he was like, you're taking the day off. I know you're not sick, and I know that I don't condone taking a day off of school and taking a day from your education, but since you're a giant fan of professional wrestling and you love people like The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, and so on and so forth, and the WWE, and they're in town promoting or announcing WrestleMania 18, we're going to this press conference and we're going to have a good time. And it's true, we did. Like, that's the biggest thing, was the fact that he said, you're taking the day off and we're going to go to this thing because I know you're going to love it. And he was dead on. He was right, because it's one of the greatest, one of my most favorite wrestling memories, or memories in general, because I got to spend the day with my old man, with my dad, with my father, and it was super, super cool to me that he would even suggest that I take a day off when I'm not sick and I'm ready, willing, and able to actually go to school. That was one of the more surprising things. I was actually ready, just like, yeah, all right, we're going to school. He's like, no, you're taking the day off. It caught me off guard, man. It was just sort of like a straight shot. You know, just a straight jab, you know, that caught you off guard, and I couldn't do anything to deflect it at all. And it was super cool. I had a lot of fun that day. The fact that we took the day just for us, we were downtown, and it was, I mean, yes, it was busy, and there were a whole bunch of fans. I think they brought the premiere of Ontario in at the time, Mike Harris. Something like that, because he was some political figure. I'm pretty sure it was Mike Harris. And there were a whole bunch of fans at the event who were just calling him an asshole. And I remember that. It was just asshole, asshole. And they're screaming it as loud as they can. Because these guys were just off to my left. And this was great. Because you get not everything that you would see at a live event with the WWE, but it's a small sample, a small inkling, a small sort of sprinkle. You get the chants, the boos, the cheers, and the fact that WrestleMania 18 was held here in Toronto was super cool. I remember ordering it on pay-per-view, watching it. You got Kurt Angle and Kane on that card, Triple H, Jericho for the Undisputed title, The Rock, Hogan, Stone Cold, Scott Hall. I mean, William Regal and Rob Van Dam, Christian and DDP. That was, if I'm missing any matches from that card, let me know. Post them in the comments below. But it was super, super cool just to take the day off and go to this press conference and hear that WrestleMania 18 was coming to Toronto, coming to my hometown. It was just a lot of fun. I got to spend the day with my dad, and we had a blast. It was a lot of fun, and I will never forget it. I will take this memory with me for as long as I got left, for as long as the clock has left to run. It was a lot of fun, and it's something that I will remember for the rest of my life. But that is a wrestling memory. That was the wrestling memory, the story of my first live wrestling experience. Do you guys have any wrestling memory stories that you want to share? Post them in the comments below. If I left anything off the WrestleMania 18 card, put those matches in the comments below as well. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I have been LT Dickey. Thanks for watching. We will see you guys in the next one. Until next time, we'll talk later. Peace.